In Nigeria, finding an address can sometimes feel like solving a puzzle, right? Turn at the transformer, pass 2 streets, then ask for Alhaji's house. But that could soon change. Did you know that the federal government is introducing a national digital address system where every building will have a unique address linked to the occupant's national identification number? Well, for decades, that's how many Nigerians have found their way around. We rely on landmarks instead of standardized addresses, making it difficult for emergency responders, delivery companies, security agencies, and even government officials to locate homes quickly. According to the National Population Commission, Nigeria has a population of over 230 million people, yet millions of homes still lack standardized addresses. This has contributed to delays in emergency response, difficulties in planning public services, and challenges in conducting an accurate census. And that's why the government is introducing a national digital address system where every building will have a unique address linked to its occupant's national identification number. The goal is to improve public service delivery, strengthen security, make deliveries easier, and help emergency services locate people faster. But success won't come from assigning house numbers alone. The system will require accurate data, public cooperation, proper implementation, and strong protection of citizens' personal information. So, as Nigerian begins this new chapter, the real question isn't just whether your house will get a number, but it's whether this system will finally end the era of the third street after the mosque and give every Nigerian an address that truly works.
Good morning, Nigeria. It's a brand new day, and we are right here to bring you the stories you need to know, the conversations you want to hear, and the issues that matter to you. Welcome to S24 Morning Digest, your trusted breakfast companion, bringing you closer to the news and the people behind the headlines. I'm Gloria Atta, and I'll be your host this morning. So, whether you're getting ready for work, heading to school, stuck in traffic, or simply starting your day with that first cup of tea or coffee, stay with us because we've got a lot coming your way. Our newspaper review comes up after the break. Stay with us.
Hi, my name is Hawa Shakiro Wodini, and shout out to S24 for this interview. It was so smooth and so clean. Thank you so much.
Thanks for staying with us. If you're just joining us, this is S24 Morning Digest, your trusted breakfast program coming to you live from Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. It's now time to dissect what some of the major stories dominating headlines today, covering security, politics, governance, business, and international affairs. Of course, I won't be doing this alone. I'll be joined by my colleague, Abubakar Turaki. Good morning, Abubakar.
Good morning, Gloria.
It's nice to see you here.
Thank you so much and Happy New Day.
Happy New Day to you too. So let's quickly get straight into the business for today. And we'll be looking at our first newspaper. We'll be taking a swipe at the Punch. And on the front page, it says, insecurity. 31 states spend 252 billion naira on security in 6 months. Now, we know that the defense budget, the defense gets the largest in the budget, and now we are seeing the allocation given to states. Let me just hear your thoughts, because do you think this monies they are spending is yielding positive results in the fight against insecurity in those states.
Yeah, thank you so much. It is two sides of the coin.
Yeah.
You can say kudos to them, and you can also hold them accountable. Because, you know, if you remember in one of our previous discussion, I even made it clear to you there is what we call security votes. This is an unremitted and unaccounted fund set aside in order to fight the
Yeah.
problem of insecurity or emergency situation in the country. So for the past 6 months, there has been reports that over 31 state has spent almost I think 300 and something. Is a huge amount of money.
300 billion naira.
And what will amaze you is like state like Kogi, Bauchi, and Plateau are among the most three states that spend huge amount of money. For example, Kogi spent almost 34 billion naira within that 6 months, and also Bauchi State also spent 22 billion naira, and also Plateau spent almost 23 billion naira, million naira in order to fight the problem of insecurity. But why is state like Meduguri not spending such huge amount of money that Bauchi spends? Meduguri is one of the states that has been volatile because for the past 2 decades, Meduguri have been battling with the problem of insecurity, insurgency, ranging from Boko Haram, ISWAP, and some part of even Al Qaeda were even terrorizing them, and even Al Shabaab, some syndicate of Al Shabaab.
Yeah.
So maybe this is an avenue for the state governors because some of them are going into their own final stage. That is the end of their own tenure. And you know, as I told you earlier, this is an unremitted and unaccounted fund set aside. So they will do everything possible in order to inflate the figure and tell the world that this is what they did. But they have to remember there is always day of accountability. And because they have access to the national cake does not mean they will take the gullible Nigerians to do everything possible and to loot and even loot some huge amount of money. And also, I have a report from Sari Global. From in June alone, almost 744 people were killed. And these are the states that say that they spend such huge amount of money. And also, according to reports, 651 people were kidnapped from January to March, according to Human Rights Commission. And
Yeah.
not western part of the country, not eastern part of the country, and not western part of the country. These are the most volatile and terrorized area. And why are we trying to, up to this material moment, we are here to address the problem of insecurity? If you ask many Nigerians, they say that they are now what we call conflict entrepreneurs. You know, conflict entrepreneurs, they get market and they get profit when the country is not at peace because
Yeah.
they will be selling their own arms and ammunition, and they will do everything possible in order for them not to get the country to be in peace. And whenever the country is not in a peaceful situation, money will continue to enter into their own account. And when money into their own into their account, allegedly they may likely siphon the resources at their own advantage.
Yeah, but you know, situations like this, what does this say too about the scale of security in the country? If 31 states are spending or have spent this much in the last few months just fighting insecurity, so does that mean I am not wrong if I say Nigeria is not safe?
Yeah, Nigeria is not safe. Globally, if you look at the budget of security, especially in the almighty USA and even places like Saudi Arabia, security is one of the major sectors of government that at least got with the highest number of budget. And
Yes.
for them to spend such huge amount of money, I think it's a welcome development for as long as they are going to spend it in order to bring peace, stability, and harmony in the country. Because no matter what they are doing, as long as the country is not peaceful, as long as the country is not scared, I think nobody is going to enjoy the country, even themselves, that they are even ruling us, talk less of we, the followers. But what we are trying to tell, the issue of accountability, our state governors are not accountable to us, which they are supposed to be accountable to us, because they are our servants. They are expected us to serve us. But now the reverse is the case. We are the one worshipping them.
So how then can we ensure transparency and accountability on the part of the state governors? Because if they are spending this, then we need to be asking questions, as you've rightly said. Who gets what? What has this been used for? What has this not been used for?
We should find a way of holding them accountable in a very legitimate manner. When I say by legitimacy in holding them accountable is by using the civil society organization and what are the work of our own state houses of assembly, lawmakers, We have to find a way of holding them accountable. And they have made it clear that every time if they are going to make some empowerment or if they are going to assist the security architecture in the state, you will
Yes.
see them parading some branded new hillocks, dashing out to the security personnel. I think this is the right time for us to start thinking inward or outward, because ending terrorism does not stop by giving logistics.
Yes.
The federal government is trying, and the state government need to complement the effort of the federal government. But most at times, I have never come across any video or any support, be it logistics from the state governors apart from HELOCs. I have never seen a state governor giving out arms and ammunition to our own gallant armed personnel to fight the problem of insecurity. You know, you have security knowledge better than better than myself. I don't know maybe if you have come across it. Anytime if you have come across it, you will just see some branded HELOCs presented
Yes.
in the government house, and you will see them handing over the keys to the armed personnel. This is not enough. This is not
Well,
enough.
for most state governments that are still complaining that they don't have enough
Mm-hmm.
funding to even take care of minor issues like, I won't call them minor, but
Mm-hmm.
other issues like salary and healthcare. So it's obvious that there's a lot of burden on the federal government to handle or tackle the issue of insecurity.
No, there's not a lot of burden in the federal government.
But they've placed that burden on
I
them.
always reflect back to what I call federalism. We're in a federal structure in this country. It is the duty of the federal government to go with the security, foreign policy, currency, and security, while the state government have the concurrent list. So all what we are expecting from the state government is they should eschew politics and support the federal government without any iota of politics. We saw what the president of the Senate stated to the world, categorically clear that the problem of insecurity is just that are people from the opposition. That is why they are engineering it. So you have the federal might and you have the intelligence gathering and everywhere. Why don't you go and bring them to book? Or is that a failure from your side? It is your own inability to secure Nigeria, and that is why you are pushing the blame to other people?
Very important questions, I believe, that we need to start answering. But because of time, we need to also quickly move to our next topic. We're still looking at the Punch newspaper, but we're talking about the NDLEA. NDLEA has destroyed 301 billion naira worth of drugs and arrested 10 in Edo. Now, in the last few months, I think we had this conversation recently that the NDLEA seems to be one of the agencies that we have that are making considerable progress in the task that they've been mandated to do, especially in the fight against drug trafficking and other drug-related crimes. So let me just also hear your thoughts on what you think this development means in Nigeria's fight against drug trafficking and, you know, the wider West Africa as well.
When the right person is positioned in the right when the right person is positioned in the right place, you will see positive results.
Yes.
I have a private conversation with you where we are uploading the effort put in place by General Buba Marwa.
Yes.
General Buba Marwa is the chairman of NDLEA, and ever since he assumed the mantle of leadership, this is his second tenure, and someone that came with the way things are going in this country. Many people are even accusing the government of Bola Tinubu. If you are not from a Yoruba, immediately if your tenure finish, he may likely not reappoint you.
Yes.
But now this is to tell you, actions speak louder than voice.
Yes.
Because Buba Marwa have been doing fantastically
Yes,
great
very well.
with the inception of a lot of hard drugs and illicit drugs that have been flowing it. And we saw what he has been doing, and this is a wonderful development in the fight against hard drugs in this country. But remember, allegedly, this is the country where the president is being accused of doing something or similar to this.
Yes.
It's an accusation. Let us just be realistic.
Yes.
Whatever we are saying, we are not saying from our mandula of Langata. Rather, we are saying from the fact and evidence that we saw online. And you cannot discredit a report that came out from Almighty United States.
Yes. Well, when it comes to this issue of drug trafficking, you've made very salient points. And I personally, too, would like to commend the NDLEA, because sometimes when I see the successes, their operational successes, I can't even wrap my head around how they are able to discover, such things. You see them finding drugs inside yam, cocaine inside this, very in places one cannot fathom. But beyond this arrest, beyond arresting these people, intercepting these drugs and destroying them, as we can see, there is still much more that needs to be done. And I think we need to start talking about it, which is the root cause of these issues. We need to start thinking of how to address where it is coming from, who is the root. Because if there is a root, even if you cut off the head, it will grow back. And that's what we are seeing. And I think that on its own might be frustrating efforts to fully combat the issue of drug trafficking in Nigeria.
I think I forgot to make this point clear. According to United Nations Office of Drug and Crime, 14.3 million Nigerians are consuming drug, and 4 million Nigerians are drug dependents.
Wow.
This is to tell you, like, the problem of drug in this country is becoming too alarming.
Yes.
And beyond the arrest and confiscation of most of the drugs, I think the NDLA need to do well. I think they need to go back and address who are the investors, who are the one bringing it, because they are always apprehending the consumers.
Yes.
While the consumers are the common Nigerians.
The consumers or the the links.
The links.
The links that just the suppliers.
I came across one video that I saw from Kano State. The NDLA Kano Command were able to at least raid one cave. If you see the kind of things that were brought out of that cave, I doubt if to say that human being will be able to stay there. Because one of the drugs that has been abused so far, I think they have, is it cocaine, Tortolin, Tramadol,
yes,
Diazepam, etc. How can a human being in his right senses consume such hard drugs that will even render your life useless? We recently, even some I think 3 to 4 years ago, there was one police officer that fought the consumption of drug abuse when he was the commissioner of police in Katsina State and commissioner of police in Kano State. I came across his video. He was too desperate to fight the problem of drugs when he even made it clear that the problem of drug abuse that has been created in our society. Let me just try and switch to the dialect. When he even stated that in Shekara primary school, there is a problem.
Yeah.
And even if you attain the level of university, you will not be able to go and do this thing. All what they will do, they will just go to school, the society, babu ilimi, babu karatu,
so
and everything.
You explain it to in English for our non-Hausa speakers.
Yeah, so this is to tell you, like, when we have the right people,
Yes.
the problem of drug abuse and drug addiction in this country will be eliminated. And most of the problem of insecurity, corruption, and even kidnapping, and even cattle rustling, it is aligned and linked to the problem of insecurity and drug consumption. If you go back to the likes of Pablo Escobar is one of the drug cartel in this world.
Yes.
And if you also go back to the likes of, Tony Montana, these are some kind of drug cartels in places like Brazil, in places like I forgot the other place. And if you go back to Cuba, thank you so much, Cuba
Yes.
and Mexico. And if you go back to places like Jamaica, the consumption of marijuana is one of the major reasons. And apart from that, confiscating these hard drugs, NDLA were able to at least apprehend more than 10 people.
Yes.
And they were able to destroy at least more than 2 farms of marijuana with almost a hectare of almost 4,000 hectares.
I saw one where they intercepted one forest in Ogun State as well. But before I go into it, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, the conversation continues. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. This is still SN4 Morning Digest, your trusted breakfast program coming to you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. And of course, this is our newspaper review segment, and I've been doing this with my colleague Abubakar Turaki. And shortly before we went on that break, we're talking about a recent landmark development by the NDLEA, where 10 persons were arrested in Edo State and drugs worth over 300 billion naira were destroyed. So I was telling you about an illegal farm that was also, I saw the video making the round sometime last month in Ogun State as well. So there are very, very laudable achievements in the last few years since General Buba Marwa retired, came on board. But also, there is something I also want us to ask, which is, does the high volume of intercepted drugs, now, does this suggest that Nigeria is becoming increasingly vulnerable to being a transit route for international drug trafficking?
Of course. Even multinational, not even international, because those interception cut across 3 different strategic points in this country: airport, seaport, and land border. The presence of sea, you can use the sea and go to most of the places within Africa and West Africa. The airport, some people are even coming with it in. And you know, we are very, very close to most of the Francophone states,
Yes.
Niger, Cameroon, and even Chad. So most of the land, you would just see custom and sometimes immigration officers and even NDLE apprehending those people.
Yeah.
I saw a very, very intelligent arrest carried out by the personnel of NDLE. There was a truck. I think the truck came from the southern part of the country and is going to the northern part of the country. They were able to intercept that truck. Do you know how they were able to get that in? They just loaded the tramadol under the truck. And I was like, does these people have invisible eyes? So this
I'm
is
always wondering as well.
NDLA, I think NDLA, they're one of the best paramilitary force we have in this country.
Yes. NDLEA, just take your flowers. We are giving you your flowers right now because
But I have to
quite
give
agree
credit
with you.
to Buba Marwa.
Yes, of
Because
course.
if the head of,
course.
I was having a conversation yesterday with one of a colleague. She had been lamenting that one of her own cousin was admitted into a different course, which he felt he's not suited for that course.
Yeah.
I was just trying to calm her down. I said, it's not the matter of you getting admission to study that course. It is the personality and the perception behind the course that will outshine yourself, and that will even give you advantage to go out and shine. So it is not the matter of the position and office you are holding, rather it is the matter of the person holding that public office.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe if you are trying to understand the
Yes,
prescription.
Yes. So now, when these arrests are made, let's go back to recoveries like this. Of course, we know that when major arrests like this are made, they destroy most of those drugs, no matter how expensive or no matter how much they cost.
Yeah.
But then what also should happen to the assets of people who have been indicted, arrested, and prosecuted for being involved in any form of drug-related offense? What do you think should be done to the assets they've gathered over the years?
You know, sometimes, like, if you say you're going to do this thing, this is Nigeria, and
Yes.
everything is possible in Nigeria. And you know, sometimes you cannot bite the finger that fed you. And you know, sometimes we have this culture of, do you know who am I?
Yes.
Maybe the person that was brought to book and he has another ogre, are you going to go and battle with the elephant? All what they are after, I think they should try and at least establish a very, very good and cordial relationship. They should continue the cordial relationship between the judiciary, because sometimes it is difficult if the court give verdict, no matter what. With the presence of media and civil society organization, sometimes it will be very, very difficult for them to influence into that court verdict. So NDLA should find a way of doing their own underground reporting and everything, and whosoever found guilty, he should be held responsible no matter what. For as long as you will continue to respect the rule of law I think Nigeria would be the one of the best countries so far. Remember, no matter how we are always crying that Nigeria is left behind, Nigeria is left behind. Nigeria, if you look at Nigeria and some of its counterparts, especially in Africa, we are in paradise.
Yeah.
Look at
Yes.
what is currently happening maybe in places like Iswantini, in places like Somalia, and in some places like Burundi, in some places like Mali, in some places like Sudan. Those are ungovernable space.
Yeah.
Those are the country where they have Robin Hood. One is collecting tax legally and the other one is collecting tax illegally.
Well, we have those groups already also trying to
Well,
enforce
but
the
at
same
least
here.
Nigerian government is doing everything possible to crush
Yes,
them.
yes, of course.
But the other one, you will see them with their own flag, calling them Ansarud Kaza, calling them Jama'atu Ahali Kaza, calling them that they're. I doubt. I don't know where terrorism is taking us in Africa.
Indeed. Well, we just pray that God.
And I also have
God
solution to
will help
NDLA
us.
if the government really want to address the problem of drug consumption and drug addiction among the
Yes.
youth. The government should find a way of at least increasing public awareness
Yes.
using their own instrument of national orientation agency. And also the government should find a way of bringing youth empowerment programs. We saw what the government did with Nigerian Jubilee Fellow, and we also what the
Yes.
government have been doing, especially the ruling party, have been coming up with some political empowerment, which is there's only members of the that are attached to the ruling party. They used to benefit from that program.
Well, we have other empowerment programs. We have the NEL Fund for students in school. We have, we recently announced one where they said they were training over 30,000 youths in skills acquisition. So there are different empowerment.
The ratio of
schemes.
neutrality and the ratio
Yes,
of people that are
that's
practicing
what
partisan
the
politics. That is what
conversation
we are
needs
trying
to
to do.
be.
Once
Yeah.
if you are a governor of once if you are a governor that you come into the mantle of leadership via APC, as long as you sit on the chair, there is no any neutrality between a member of ABGA, between a member of GG, between a member of Accord Party. You are expected to be the governor. No partiality, no imbalance, no any religious difference. Go back to the likes of Ahmadu Bello Sardauna. There was a time when I had a story where Damasani of Kano went to a supermarket together with Sardauna, and he saw one boy went into the supermarket doing what they call window shopping. And Sardauna was able to ask him, "Who are you?" He was trying to tell him that I belong to so person. Sardauna said, "No, shut up. You are a Nigerian."
That is it. At the end of the day, you are a Nigerian. And a lot of times people don't understand that we are Nigerians until after they leave the country. If you're outside the shores of this country, nobody asks you if you are Yoruba, you are Hausa, or you are Igbo. The conversation is, are you from Nigeria? So at the end of the day, we still have to carry that Nigerian identity forward. So because of time, we are moving to our next newspaper. And we'll be taking a look at the Daily Trust newspaper. And on the front page, it says over 200 lecturers leave university. Now, this is a very worrying and saddening report, if you ask me, because having 200 lecturers leaving the university system has a lot of implications to education in Nigeria. Or what do you think?
Not only to education, even to human being.
Yes.
And even to human personality. And even to them, because they accuse the university lecturers of giving the election in their own favor. We recently saw the electoral returning officer in Osun State. Was it not Professor Ajiwa? I forgot his name. He's a professor from, I think, Edo State University.
Yeah.
And now, so they will use the professors to give election into their own favor. But when it comes to the welfareism of the professors, they will find a way of bastardizing them, and they will find a way of neglecting them. I'm sorry to use that word, bastardize. They will find a way of neglecting them and even trying to at least push them and send them into a traumatic condition. This is a university lecturer that his own remuneration and his own take-home fees is not even 2 million. And do you know what it takes for you to attend the highest university peak?
Yeah, it's actually a lot. And I always commend people in the academia because reading, having to write a lot of articles to go through all of that, only for you to end up not being paid, or for you to spend the better part of your career going on strike for things that you are entitled to. It's quite saddening. But does this also point to the fact that we are experiencing a massive brain drain in our education sector, because of course we know that is already happening in the health sector, and now our lecturers are also leaving the university system.
Of course, we are. Part of the consequences of this ASU strike that even led to almost over 200 lecturers left this country, and some people even left Kaduna State University. What we are going to experience there, we are going to experience what we call low quality of education.
Yeah.
Because they are living. I have a professor. He's a professor of political science, and he is my professor. And he taught me while I was in school. That man was unable to at least withstand the hardship. He was able to japa, and now he's in University of Namibia. What he is getting as a professor of political science in University of Namibia, I don't think if there is any university professor that is currently teaching in Nigeria is getting such amount of money.
Well, you know, if you've attended public universities in Nigeria, you'd find out that if you go to maybe a parking lot, a parking space, you find out that if you see flashy cars, they most likely belong to the students and not the teachers.
Of course.
And it's, you know, very, very sad. But now, of course, we know this is also going to impact the quality of teaching
Education
and the quality of learning among our students. So what incentives, what can now be better, what can be done better to help salvage this situation?
ASU, if you are with me, I'm suggesting that you should try and eschew and forget about student welfareism. ASU should now try and focus on their own welfare, because Nigerian government...
But their welfare they've been clamoring for.
They have been clamoring for underfunding of university, lack of adequate research facilities, lack of poor infrastructure, and also proliferation of state-owned universities, and also what they call in-academic allowance. An agreement is an agreement, no matter what.
Yes.
And it is expected for the government to fulfill the agreement of over 16 to 17 years, which they were able to review it. We saw during the time of Muhammadu Buhari when they came up with Munzali Jibrin Committee, when they came up with Professor Babalakin Committee, nothing yielded a positive result.
Yeah.
We even saw the recent committee that they came in an agreement in 2025. They are yet to implement most of the agreement. So this is high time for ASU, since ASU is the only strong body that remains that is neutral in this country. I stand to be corrected.
Yeah.
Because this is a community, this is an association of intellectuals. No matter how discredited you are, discredited members of the ASU are more credible than Nigerians politicians. These are the people that taught you, and these are the people that are putting everything possible in order to make this country great.
Yeah.
I just remember during when Professor Atahiru Jega was the chairman of ASU, during the times of the military, Professor Atahiru Jega narrated to us that during his time, he went through a lot of things. You know, during the military era, there is no presence of constitution. It is only decree.
Yes.
If you misbehave, they will deal with you.
Squarely.
It has reached even to the extent that when the ASU were on strike, some gallant officers went to their own house. They were even trying to put off their own roof. But ASU stood firmly, which later led to the establishment of what we are currently enjoying now, TED Fund. And after that, a lot of people benefited from scholarship.
Yeah.
And a lot of people benefited from qualitative education. So is it not yet the right time for us to at least relinquish this battle? And coming back to what I'm trying to tell you, Nigerian government, if you can go and bargain on salary increment, Nigerian government does not have any problem, they will increase your increment. But if you say that Nigerian government, come and put this structure is not for us. This structure is for the people you are governing. This structure is for you. Because if you leave office, the flamboyant life that you are living now, you may not be able to continue living it. I saw a video before the late Speaker of Nigerian House of Assembly died, Speaker Gani Umar Naabba. When I saw his video, I nearly cried. These were the people that during Obasanjo era, those are the people that are living in exorbitant convent.
Yes.
But after they left office, what happened? I came across one former deputy governor in my state. I was unable to recognize him. Remember, after you leave this office, you may not be able to. Recently, in this Guzape, I was going out. I saw a former governor. A former governor in one of the northeastern states.
So
the way he
please,
is living, these are the kind of equipment that we need to equip it, because after leaving office, you are going to come back, and me, myself, you, and your family, we are going to be trooping in order to patronize that team.
I have to put
If
a
Nigerian
pause to you,
government-
Abubakar. Let's take a short break, and then when we come back, this conversation will continue. Please stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. And this is still the newspaper review on S24 Morning Digest, of course, happening live on S24 television. Thank you for staying with us, Abubakar. Before we went on the break, you were making a very important point. So please, you can just proceed.
Yeah, I'm trying to propose to ASU, even though I know these are union of intellectuals,
Yes.
and these are union of people that have sympathy for the country. I'm not trying to back ASU, but rather we are trying to back the facts. I know that ASU may likely not consider my own suggestion. ASU should now tilt their own struggle toward the increment of their own welfare. Their salary, they should forget about the proliferation of state universities, lack of infrastructure in the university. Let the government do whatever they want to do. And let ASU struggle for the increment of their own salary.
But allowing the government to do what they want to do, or allowing people to do what they want to do, is the reason why we are here. We need to keep having these conversations, because if we don't have these conversations, things will get bad. And at the end of the day, sometime in the near future, you sit down and you
cry.
You cry.
If not because of ASU's struggle, wallahi, tallahi, billahi. When a true believer said, wallahi, tallahi, billahi, that is the peak of what I can see as a true believer.
Yeah.
If not because of ASU strike and ASU struggle, our public universities could have subjected to what we are having in our public primary and secondary school now. Go to government school and see the way people are struggling to end education. Go to primary and secondary school and see the way infrastructures are going down. Is it not recently we saw the video of Nanvello renovating some of the abandoned school by Kano State government? Have you not come across the videos?
Yeah.
Go to primary school. I saw a video from Zamfara State. Students were just still barely on the floor.
Well,
go to places and see how public primary schools were subjected to what we call virtual, where we describe as inhabitable way. And this is a school where you are producing the next Nigerian governor, the next Nigerian senator, despite the fact that most of them attended public universities. I think Nigerians politicians, you have betrayed us, and we are waiting for you in 2027. Nigerians are out there waiting for you.
Yeah, because of time, let's also move to our next topic. Let's talk about the flooding in Abuja. Flooded Abuja mansions raise questions over green areas. If you live around Abuja, within the city center or its environs, you've noticed that any day it rains, you'd hardly be able to go out. Even here in Guzape, we went out for an activity over the weekend, and it was quite an eyesore, seeing that a highbrow part of Abuja, even in parts of Asokoro, people can no longer go home in peace. So if you go out dry, you come back wet. So let me just hear your thoughts. Let me hear your thoughts on this.
This is pure negligence.
Yes.
And pure abuse of government trust. And I don't want to jubilate, but if to say that the flood happened in some of the less and underprivileged area in some outskirts of Abuja, I don't want to mention any name.
Yeah.
They may likely not consider the flood as something that affects them. But God Almighty Allah, so kind, that flood happened in most of the core metropolis of Abuja.
Yes.
The likes of Guzape, Wuse 1, Wuse 2, Maitama, Asokoro, and some part of Abuja. So this is what we call negligence, because whenever corruption cut across the entire government process in this country, this is the consequences of corruption. Because I saw a report by Daily Trust, part of these people that were affected, I think the current deputy governor of Kano State, his house was also affected. And also the former IGP of police, Solomon Arosi, his house was also affected. And part of what I came across, they made mention that most of the places where those houses were built, these were on water canal. And you know, water is the only thing that no matter how you are trying to divert him, he will still find a way of coming out.
Yes.
And with the way that we don't have a proper waste management disposal or a proper waste management system, every time we just used to dump our refuse here, refuse there, and at the tail end is going to come and accumulate and bring into what we call disastrous flooding. And if I remember, some couple of months ago, I saw a report from NIMET. NIMET have been calling on Nigerian government and even state government that something huge is coming.
Yes.
Something huge is coming, but we just decided not to take any measures. But if to say that we have listened to NIMET, before then we were able to at least bring some precaution measures very, very close to us, maybe by providing some vacuums, maybe by cleaning the drainage, or maybe by providing some things that are good, or even maybe by demolishing some of the structures that were even built on the water canal. I think by now we could have not experienced that thing. And even remember, this is not the first time. Remember what happened, I think, 2 years ago or a year ago? The Alo Dam in Meduguri, the flood that happened in Meduguri at Alo Dam. I experienced flood at Kogi some couple of years ago. And also Mokowa flood that happened in Niger.
Yes.
Are we really in our senses? Are we not learning from mistakes?
So
what is the difference between animal and human being if you cannot think? Why is our politician trying to kill us with our life?
Okay, so
these are the consequences of bad and weak leadership.
So who then should we hold responsible when buildings or structures are erected in areas that are vulnerable to flooding, or green areas that are not even supposed to have buildings in the first place?
You must be in your, I think maybe you're not in your right senses, because I believe Abuja has a master plan. And for somebody to occupy a land and even build a house in Abuja, I think he has a level of awareness and socialization. If not just because of greed and rapacious tendency of human being, go to FCDA, do the bidding, make sure that this allocation is not on any water canal or is not in any green area. If they approve, do it. But due to the level of corruption, no matter what, corruption have actually taken over everything in this country. And the government should hold responsible, because there is FCDA and there is also edges.
Yes, which is where.
And after that, the minister of FCT, who is equivalent as the governor of FCT, should also double his own effort. Mr. Project is doing well, but I believe sometimes some dubious acts may likely happen without his own knowledge.
Yeah, because I feel like if I want to do something, for example, and I say I want to build something in plot A, it is your responsibility, the one allocating. Why are we even giving out lands that are not supposed to be for residential use, for residential purposes? Why are we even giving them out in the first place? So I believe the FCDA and every other agency that is responsible has to do more in that regard.
I will tell you why.
Because if I'm coming somewhere, an average person just sees a land and is like, I like it, I want to build something. So it is you who has the jurisdiction and who has more knowledge that would say, this place is a residential place, or this place is not a residential place. And no matter the amount you want to offer, even if you want to offer 100 times the original price, you insist that this is no is no.
Corruption. Because corruption. If you remember, during Muhammadu Buhari era, we saw someone who budgeted huge amount of money saying that he is going to trim the grasses in the villa. Courtesy of corruption. It is in this country that somebody even came out and even said that a lion has swallowed some huge amount of money. It is in this country that one former governor came out and said snake have swallowed money.
Now, so should the FCT administration consider stricter enforcement and maybe possible demolition of structures built on waterways at this point?
To be honest, some huge and gigantic project that we are seeing in this Abuja, demolishing them is not even possible.
Then what then should we do?
They should find a way of at least doing what it is supposed to do. Because how do you expect somebody, maybe a former minister, you're coming to demolish his house? I think apart from Nasiru El-Rufai, there is no anyone that have made Abuja to where Abuja it is today, apart from Nasiru El-Rufai. Because Nasiru El-Rufai, part of his project he made, I think he even demolished some part of the residence of the former president, which is Olusegun Obasanjo. So it only requires a kind of like person that has neutrality and the person that has the fear of God and also the person that have love for the country that will be able to do that thing. If now you are saying that maybe some beautiful houses in Asokoro or Metama, you're going to go and start demolishing, where are you going to start?
But we have a master plan.
But they are still
So
in the government.
if we are not following the master plan, this is not, there will be no end.
That is why I told you corruption have sent us to a pit where we may likely not return. We saw some report that part of the green area in Jabilek, they are now doing something else. In my area, where we saw a place that was allocated for Weir Hospital, now it has turned to residential area. What do you want us to do? We have cried, we have called, we have done everything possible. The building is always increasing. I think now they are even trying to put a
roofing level.
What do you want me to do as a common Nigerian? Is it for me to come to S24 and start crying? That is why I told people every day, if you really want to make a difference, and as long as you believe in yourself, remove your agbada, join politics, chase them out, and make difference to your people. Because those people are thinking that they are semi-gods. Nobody is indispensable in this country, but some huge amount of people that have even called themselves the owner of this country. They have been doing everything. Now, if to say that if somebody among them want to make you rich, before you know, you will see your appointment letter to one of the lucrative agency. And if you go there, they are going to open some ways for you so that you will just become rich in a broad daylight, courtesy of corruption.
All right. So, well, thank you so much, Abubakar, for joining us. But it's very important that we find a way to handle this issue before it gets out of hand, because at this juncture, at this critical point, Abuja is flooding and we need to do something about it, and we need to act very fast. We still have a lot to talk about today, but because of time, this is where we draw the curtain on our newspaper review for today. Coming up next, we are taking the conversation beyond the studio and onto the streets, where Nigerians have their say in our Street Talk segment. And there's still plenty more, of course, from Health 360 to top trends, making waves, and all the latest action from the world of sports on the sports desk. But for now, it's goodbye from me and goodbye from Abubakar Turaki. Stay with us, because the morning is only getting started.
First dates or meeting someone for the first time. Chances are you've already formed an opinion before the conversation is even over. So, why do first impressions carry so much weight? A lot of it comes down to what we notice first, how someone speaks, their confidence, eye contact, appearance, or even a smile. Those early cues often shape how we see them before we really know who they are. The problem is, first impressions can be misleading. A quiet person may simply be shy. Someone who seems confident might just be good at hiding their nerves. Yet, those first few moments can influence who gets hired, who gets trusted, and even who becomes a friend. That's why first impression matters. But it shouldn't be the only thing that matters, because getting to know someone takes more than just the first meeting. Whether it's a job interview, a first date, or meeting someone for the first time, Chances are you've already formed an opinion before the conversation is even over. So, why do first impressions carry so much weight? A lot of it comes down to what we notice first, how someone speaks, their confidence, eye contact, appearance, or even a smile. Those early cues often shape how we see them before we really know who they are. The problem is, first impressions can be misleading. A quiet person may simply be shy. Someone who seems confident might just be good at hiding their nerves. Yet, those first few moments can influence who gets hired, who gets trusted, and even who becomes a friend. That's why first impression matters. But it shouldn't be the only thing that matters because getting to know someone takes more than just the first meeting.
How safe is a female journalist in today's workspace? Every day, female journalists step out to tell stories that matter. They inform the public, question those in power, and give voice to the voiceless. But many women in journalism simply doing their jobs comes with serious risks. The numbers are alarming. A global study by the UNESCO and International Center for Journalists found that 73% of journalists have experienced online violence because of their work. 1 in 4 receive threats of physical violence, 18% receive threats of sexual violence, and 20 receive abuse they experience online, which later turn to real-life attack. Today, female journalists increasingly targeted by cyberbullying, hate speech, coordinated misinformation campaigns, especially those reporting online politics, corruption, election security, or human rights. Another growing concern is the misuse of artificial intelligence, deepfake videos, manipulated images, and AI-generated content, now being used to spread false information, damage reputation, and undermine the credibility of female journalists faster than ever before. The dangers are not limited to the digital world alone. While covering elections, protests, or conflict, even inside a newsroom, some continue to experience discrimination, sexual harassment, unequal opportunities. These experiences have lasting consequences. According to UNESCO, 30% of female journalists said online abuse led them to self-censor, while 26% reported impact of mental health. When journalists begin to silence themselves out of fear, the public lose access to important stories. So what's the solution? Governments must enforce laws that protect journalists. Media organizations must create safe, inclusive workspaces. Technology companies must act faster against online abuse. Government must enforce laws that protect journalists. Media organizations must create safe workspaces. Technology companies must act fast against online abuse, AI-enabled harassment, and the public must continue to defend press freedom. Because protecting female journalists is not about protecting individuals, it's about protecting the truth. When journalists are safe, democracy is stronger. When they are silenced, society is left in the dark.
Okay, quick question. What's the longest streak you've kept this year? Snap streak or TikTok streak? Now here's the real question. When was the last time you intentionally did something for your health? Exactly. We romanticize soft life, but survive on 2 hours of sleep. Skip breakfast, drink more caffeine than water, self-diagnose with TikTok comments, and somehow convince ourselves that because we are young, we are automatically healthy. Spoiler alert, youth is not immunity. Hello and welcome to Health 360, where we'll make health conversations make sense, break down myths without the medical dictionary, and remind you that taking care of yourself isn't boring. It's actually one of the coolest investments you will ever make. I'm your host, Martha Opala-Nedu, and today we're asking a question that's bigger than medicine. Today, we're exploring what it truly means to be healthy, young, informed, and involved. Can Gen Z actually fix healthcare? Or are we unknowingly making it worse? Because here's the tea. We are the most connected generation in our history, the most self-aware. We can trend a dance in 6 hours, raise money online overnight, start a movement with one hashtag, To help us unpack all of this is someone who's not just talking about change, but creating it. She's a registered nurse and midwife, a youth advocate, Ashoka Young Changemaker, public health innovator, founder of Health Impact for Youth, and someone who's proving that healthcare doesn't only happen inside hospitals, but it starts in homes, schools, communities, and even in our phones. Please welcome Unique Okewoye. I got it.
We tried.
Welcome to Health 360.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here. Yeah, it's a pleasure.
All right, so before we get into our deep convo, we do a vibe check.
I
We have
see.
to, we have to know you all around. Are you 360 enough for Health 360? You do you think?
Let's try.
Okay. So to start with, what's your toxic health traits?
Toxic.
Yeah, everybody has one. Confess.
I would think this is toxic. I know how to. I don't do this every time, to be fair. But once in a while, I know how to binge watch movies.
Binge watch.
Yeah,
Okay.
just be. I can watch a series overnight and be awake till 5 a.m. and then I still have to get to work. I know it's bad, but I do that once in a while. So I think that should
So,
count.
so
Yeah.
what's one thing Gen Z gets right about health?
We get right. One thing we get right. That's a deep one. But I think it's we are more intentional about how we look. We are more intentional about how we look. So yes. So I think it is. I think that's one thing.
Okay. So what's one thing we are absolutely failing at?
I think it's really identifying and fact checking health information. You know, somebody makes a tweet on Twitter the next minute without realizing if it's solid. You see reshares, you see on your status, a lot of things. So I think that's another thing. Maybe because of the invent of social media.
Valid. If your immune system could unfollow one of your habits, what do you think it would be?
I really think it would be binge watching movies.
So what's one health habit you wish every young Nigerian would start today?
Be more intentional about their checkups, medical checkups there. Go for health checkups. Know your numbers, your blood sugar, your blood pressure, all of those things. They really help because they give like baseline data into the kind of lifestyle that you are living. Because health and lifestyle, they go like
Hand
together.
in hand.
Yeah.
Book or podcast?
Books, please.
Are you
Books,
sure?
please.
No, that was very nice.
Yes.
Health app you actually recommend?
I can't give one. I can't say any health head right now. You know.
Okay. One Nigerian food you think deserves more appreciation?
Holiday.
Underrated.
I don't think it's underrated though, but it's my favorite food, so I'll just anywhere, anytime, guys. Pounded yam.
One daily habit everyone should steal from you.
For me, I think it would be journaling and meditating. It really helps you, like helps you think more. It helps you become more intentional about. It helps you trace like the kind of lifestyle you are living and the patterns where you need to drop. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so we've checked you enough.
Or
Yeah, you're giving 360.
should I
Green
turn
light.
around?
Okay, so moving on to our main conversation for the day.
Oh, I see.
So, question one.
Okay.
Okay, everybody talks about fixing Nigerians' healthcare system,
Yeah.
but when people hear healthcare system, they immediately think hospitals. Is that really what healthcare system is?
No, healthcare system is not limited to hospitals. In fact, I would say healthcare system starts before the hospitals. When we're talking about healthcare system, we're talking about people, talking about policies, we're talking about community health programs, talking about medicines, we're talking about innovation, talking about financing. We're even talking about the everyday decision family makes about their health, the everyday decision every individual make about their health, what they eat, where they're sleeping, what they wear, what they take in. So health is beyond the hospital. We're talking about hospitals, we're talking about treating illness. Healthcare system is even preventing those illness before they happen. So I would say the cheapest form of healthcare is the absence of illness, the illness you don't have. Yes, cheapest,
Actually.
yes, cheapest form of healthcare.
Okay, so moving on.
All right.
You've worked directly with young people. You
Okay.
are a youth advocate, a leader,
Yeah.
sir.
You're my
So-
flowers, please.
Here you go. So when you meet Nigerian youths, what's the biggest health challenge you notice that isn't getting enough attention?
Well, I think for me, and what really founded my passion for health impact for youth and my work in public health spaces and my work with young persons would be poor health literacy. Because for me,
Poor health
poor health
literacy.
literacy, for me, health is one of the strongest intervention for public health, strongest intervention for medicine, knowledge, understanding your body, understanding what works for you, understanding what is adverse to your health. And it is the lack of proper health awareness that leads to a lot of lifestyle that affects the health in the long run. For example, it can cause nonchalance, can create nonchalance among young people, can lead to misuse of antibiotics, can lead to misinformation about mental health, stigmas, and all of that. So I would say poor health literacy is the baseline for all of this.
Do you think it actually creates nonchalance? Because Gen Z, if you really check, like nonchalance is the order of the day now.
So I think it's, you are nonchalant or something you're not totally aware of. If you are aware of that this thing can really ruin you, there's a level of consciousness it brings to you than not being aware of it. The level, even if you are really a nonchalant person, if you have access to some information, you will challenge at the point. You will challenge. So,
Nobody will tell
so
you twice.
yes.
Okay, so we all know that prevention is better than cure. You already said that the best, the cheapest.
Yeah, form of
Uh-huh.
healthcare is illness you
Yeah.
don't have.
But like, why aren't we practicing that?
Well, there are many factors we could look at and many things. Sometimes we could say it's because people normalize they think of healthcare as hospitals or sickness. Like, for example, you may not go to the hospital until you feel headache or you cannot sleep at night, or you feel maybe you don't feel like eating, you feel dizzy. So some of these things could be the reason why people think it is until there's like something wrong with me before I should go to the hospital. And I think it's also because there's no really proper awareness as to how health and prevention is the cheapest form. It saves lives, it saves money, it saves your energy, it saves a lot of things. And I also think sometimes it could be the cost of healthcare. So it's really different depending on the perspective of the person that you are looking at. So I think that's why some people just still don't take their health as important until the body puts a full stop to it. This is one thing my dad used to tell me when I was in school. He would tell me that if you don't give your body rest, your body will end up demanding rest from you. And it's to demand rest from you in a way that you don't like. So if you don't prevent the illness, the repercussion of it is really worse than the prevention. So
they are likely to even spend more.
yes, exactly. The same thing that you're avoiding ends up meeting up with you, and even way worse in the end. So I think there should be more advocacy regarding prevention before before getting to the corrective methods. Yeah.
So why are so many young people, why are so many people willing to trust influencers before healthcare professionals? And how can we become better at identifying credible health information?
Well, I will not say maybe because the influencers are more knowledgeable, but I would say it's maybe because they are more relatable, they are more understandable, they are more accessible. And I think that's one thing health professionals really need to look into. How can they communicate health information, make it more simple, and do away with medical jargons and put it in a way that you see it as an everyday lifestyle. I think that's why we need to give credit to people like Apoko Doctor, the Black Nurse, all of those people, Dr. Valerie. You see how they create relatable content and people can understand what is working for them. And as regarding verifying health information, we mentioned earlier that there are a lot of misinformation going around, and because as we are Gen Zs now, we post, we share, increasing the risk of the rate of misinformation. There's this person his name is Mike Coldfield. He's a digital expert, and he gave a rule for us to use to verify health information. It's called the SIFT rule. SIFT. So S stands for stop. When you see an information, ask yourself, is this believable? Imagine there's an apple here and I tell you that if you eat this apple, you live until you're 120 years. You eat, can you imagine? These are the issues. So ask yourself, is this logical? Is this really true? Stops, takes a minute. We are very energetic, we are very passionate, want to try it out. Well, ask yourself, is this really logical? Am I thinking with my emotions? The I stand for investigate the source, investigates the person who is sharing the information. Are they an expert in their field? Are they a professional? Are they a healthcare worker? Like, do they have expertise in that particular field that they are speaking from? And then there's the F. The F is find better coverage. Find better coverage. The news that they are sharing, is it backed up by WHO, World Health Organization? Is it backed up by the Federal Ministry of Health? Is it backed up by NCDC? So these are the things that can make you assess if what you are buying is actually credible health information. And T stands for trace the source. If somebody shares an information, a lot of people would have reposted. It gives you, so you are the better end of the bargain if you can trace who the person who shared it, who originated all of this. So once you use all of these metrics to measure if health information is credible, you would save yourself from a whole lot of misinformation.
Okay. You mentioned something, say that we should thank the likes of the
Yeah,
Aproko doctor.
yes,
But
Apocodactyl.
isn't that the reason why people don't even trust healthcare professionals? Because they feel like these influencers, because he's an influencer at the end of the day.
Yes,
still.
it's an health professional.
Okay, he's also a health
Is
professional.
also a health professional. Yes,
So
he's a doctor.
he's okay.
Yes,
So
that's what I'm saying, that the influencers make health information accessible, they make it understandable, they make it relatable. And that's one thing health professionals really need to look into as a practitioner, as a doctor. How can you make whoever you are speaking to understand what you are talking from their standpoint? We recently concluded a project where we raised young people to become mental health advocates. And we didn't go there speaking to them from an expert's point of view. We broke it down into the forms where they could understand and translate the knowledge to other persons. So I'm saying that we can look at people like Apoko Doctor, we can look at people like Black Nurse. These are the people that are sharing health information, that are making it very simple. And if we can imbibe that into the profession, it makes it easier for us. Yeah.
That's nice. So moving on, sometimes people say, I'm just one person. How can I possibly improve healthcare in Nigeria? What's your response to that mindset?
Well, it all starts from one person, right? Like, indeed, I found a health impact for it, and it was just me. It was just an idea I had.
See flex now.
Clock it. It was just an idea. I still remember how it all started, and it just came in that, oh, why not do something to amplify, bridge the gap in health literacy among young persons. And over 2 years, we have reached thousands of young persons with all of this. I've had people that are part of my team that have gone on to even start their own initiatives to also solve health concerns in their different fields. So you never know the result of, you never know the outcome of the decisions you don't take. And I think even Elon Musk, the richest man in the world right now, he all started with an idea and he started executing. So the world rewards people that think they can change the world. It rewards people that not just think, but can move from a place of ideation to execution. Because in the end of the day, it's execution that matters. So to that person who is still thinking, you don't know, another person, the next 10 years, another person can start executing your idea. And you look back and feel like, I should have done this, I should have started earlier. So it's not just a one-person thing. Healthy Nigeria starts from healthy communities, where it starts from an healthy individual that decides that they want to be more intentional about their health. So yes.
Yes, that's nice. So when you founded Health Impact for Youth, what problem were you trying to solve that you felt nobody else was solving well enough?
I think it started with the passion for mental health advocacy. And let me just walk you through the story. It was my third year in nursing school, and we usually go for clinical postings. We go to the hospitals and they take us around the wards. We like to have more practical knowledge as to the theory they're teaching us in school. And it was psychiatric posting. And I went to the hospital and I saw young persons like myself living the things that we had read in books. And to me, it felt like they were not so much attention going to the mental health space as opposed to physical health. So that's where I started from. Even right in the hospital, I started advocating, because I remember there was a particular, the hospital organized a competition or a debate within schools as to the debating on how, if mental health is prioritized as physical health. I remember representing my school to speak on that topic. Even in my fourth year, I still represented my department in that same conversation as to why physical health is way prioritized compared to mental health. So it started as a passion to bridge the gap in health literacy. It evolved into a passion to bridge the gap in health literacy, but it started as a passion for mental health advocacy. So that's the problem I saw.
Do you think our education system prepares young people to make informed health decisions?
Well, I would say our education system is trying to make people understand subjects, pass exams, prepare them for their careers. But as regards health literacy, I would not say that, because an average young person in school understands, have a knowledge of chemistry. They're science students. If you're an economics student, you understand economics. But ask them how to identify credible health information. Ask them about their knowledge on mental health. They will be lost. And I think health literacy should be something that is on everybody's to-do list. But I ask you now, do you have a to-do list for the week? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Among the list, among what you have on your to-do list, is there anything like, I want to live a better life, or I want to live a healthier life? Same. So I think healthy living should be something that's on everybody's to-do list, and should be something that is passed down, that people from young age should see reasons why they should live healthier lives, because it all starts from there. It all starts from there. So I really don't think so. And I think it's something that needs to be looked into. That's why when we go for our programs, or I have programs on mental health advocacy like that with young persons, it's something that we co-create with the teachers. So teachers can also see reasons why they should also teach these students some of these things. There was a very interesting conversation that happened in our most recent project. One of the students had to admit that she had been battling with depression in the school, and nobody realized, because they were oblivious to it. So I think it's something that we should include for us to raise healthier children, healthier students.
Okay, Unique, I've heard everything you said. And I'll throw the question back to you. Do you have it to do list?
Yes, I do.
And is there anything that includes being healthy?
Yes, it is.
What is it? Can you share with us?
I should share with you. It's really much about like resting well, like I said, because of the profession and all of that. So being very intentional about rest and eating well, because sometimes health professionals, we can be so carried away in the work and forget our own personal health.
Yeah.
Yes, and also medical checkups. I did mine last week, and it came out well. So yes.
That's good.
Thank you.
We'll definitely do it to do
Are you sure?
Many people define success as money, career, or academic achievements. Do you think we've forgotten that good health is actually one of the biggest forms of health? I mean, health is wealth after all.
Yes, it is. As much as wealth gives you options, health gives you the ability to enjoy them. Because if you
You said as much as wealth
gives you options,
health
gives you the ability to enjoy them.
You have been dropping bars for us.
Okay, guys, clock it.
Okay.
Because even the richest man in the hospital still wants to live healthy. Still wants one thing. Maybe he has all the cars in Abuja, maybe he has all the houses. There's still one thing he desires. That is sound health. Do you know, myself, I really was not intentional about. I really was not so grateful about sound health until some months ago, when I was really sick and I had to take drugs, kind of medication I've never taken before in my life. That was when I would wake up in the morning and say, Jesus, thank you for sound health. Like it really brought me to the reality that we really are underrating sound health. Because bring 10 young persons, I dare say, ask them what is their plan for before the year ends. At least 50 of them will say they want to do something. They want to make it maybe achieve a goal, achieve a milestone, reach social followers on their Instagram page or LinkedIn pages. Maybe they want to buy a car, but you will not see you will rarely see out of all of them say they want to live healthier lives. Whereas you really cannot achieve all of this without health. So I think it's something that we really need to be grateful for. Sound health is very underrated. And if you walk into the hospitals, you'll be very grateful for health. Be very grateful, because the littlest thing that I think is easy is what some people are struggling for. So I think it's something we should be more intentional about, because you can achieve your goals only if you are healthy. I read books and I realized that the greatest minds, the greatest people that did great things, they were more intentional about their health. They were very intentional about their health. Even Cristiano Ronaldo, some people's goats would still say, I really respect him. So if you still like, with all the accomplishments he has, with all the wealth that he has, he still wakes up every morning and does his exercises. He's still very intentional about what he drinks. He's very intentional about what he eats. So I think it's something we really need to be more grateful for and really more intentional about.
That's beautiful. So let's challenge ourselves a little. Would you say Gen Z is passionate about advocacy for health, specifically for health advocacy? Yeah, health advocacy.
Well, if you mean passionate in reposting health tips,
We carry our words.
Yeah, we are trying it down because I think our generation, this Gen Z generation, are more passionate about advocacy, not just in health but in different sectors. Because I apply for opportunities and then I get rejected for some, I get accepted for some, and the ones I get rejected for, I hear like, oh, out of 4,000 something applicants. So you mean that I was not the only person seeking for this? There are other 5,000 other young persons that also wants to get this. So I would see young people. It's now that we see young people doing climate change. We see young people bridging the gap in mental health awareness. If my Instagram page, for example, if you go through my for the first 10 minutes, all you'll be seeing are young persons literally
Making changes.
yes, making change, being change makers in the different communities. So to an extent, compared to previous generation, we now have a large percentage of young people that are really passionate about
Actually,
creating change.
yeah.
Yes. Well, I think it should not just stop at media advocacy, because some people advocacy stop at media advocacy. And I've had like to witness that firsthand, because we'd put out, let's say we put out a flyer, put out a call for volunteers for Health Impact for Youth page. You see a lot of reposts, a lot of like, oh, Unique, you're doing amazing. Guys, what I want you is to volunteer. So let's do it. Let's do the amazing things together. Like, let's do it together. And then you realize that maybe out of 100 people that like the post, maybe just a 50 applied. You have conversation with the 50, only maybe a 10 is interested. And then on the actual, there's only 2 people that show up. So I think it should not just stop at passion. It should actually extend into being involved in it, being involved, volunteering, community service, even living. You cannot advocate for healthy living if you're not living a healthy life. Should also start with yourself. Change begins with you.
One person.
It's you. Change begins with you. With me. It's you. With all of us. All right.
So moving on, you've worked in communities.
Okay.
Can you share one moment that completely changed the way you see public health?
I think if there's one thing that really changed the way I saw public health, was realizing that if you want the best of impact, if you want tangible impact, or if you want sustainable impact, because you can create change and it's not sustainable, it dies after you leave.
Yeah.
If you want sustainable impact, you co-create with communities. You co-create with young persons. What do I mean?
Yeah.
You go to a community, you want to solve a problem, you want to do something, rather than solving problem for them,
You solve with them.
solve with them. Yeah, they're there, solve with them. And I realized that the impact extends beyond you. I've still referenced this previous, like our just completed project, Youth Health Action Lab. What we did was we trained young persons as mental health advocates and change makers in their communities. So I didn't go there to teach them, or the mental health expert I brought didn't go there to teach them, oh, just awareness. We didn't see them as beneficiaries. We saw them as change makers. So the information that we passed to them was not from a standpoint to make them aware, but from a standpoint to make them to be able to create change in their communities. And the impact extended beyond us, because before we were done with the project, these young persons had created 10 interventions to mental health challenges in their communities that they identified by themselves, not by. We're not the one that did it.
Yeah.
They were the ones. They were the ones that created the plans of sustainability by themselves. Leaving the school, the principal did not even want the session with them to end. Told us that it would also extend to a virtual advocacy program. So you understand that this was not a creation of change for them. It was a co-creation with them. So it's one thing that I'm really, really passionate about. One thing that changed my perspective about communities and public health. If you want sustainable impact, co-create change with those people. Design solutions with them, not just for them.
That's beautiful. Okay, so what's one health conversation Nigerian families still avoid having, but desperately need to start?
I think it will still be conversations around mental health. I think it would still be that, because tell the average Nigerian mom that a child has ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity syndrome, disorder, they will tell you that no, it's not my daughter.
It's not my daughter. They will start casting our mind.
I'm telling you, I spoke at the webinar last month on the cost of being misunderstood. It's like they organized a program to demystify myths about ADHD, and one of the speakers was saying that when she was growing up, she felt greatly misunderstood, and she was aware that her mother had a knowledge of this to an extent, but